Well, let's see what happens tonight. I'm starting later than I normally do. I've got my usual one in, who will probably leave shortly. Hey, Simply Aqua. How are you today? I don't know how long this will go because I'm still having the coughing spells if I talk too much. How are you doing today? I'm all right. It's winding down the end of my day. It's 9:25 p.m. here. I didn't do a whole lot today. It's been cold outside. Went out, split some firewood, and brought some more in for the wood stove for tonight. I have a fire going now. Fluffy, what are you doing? Hey, Josh. Hey, Ken. Josh, I think you sent some of your cold weather down here. It's supposed to only be 31 here tonight. It's below freezing. I'm still doing about the same, Josh. I just can't get rid of this little bit of a cough I got. That's why I said when I first started, I don't know how long this will last. If I talk too much, I start coughing again. Yeah. Let's see, today Sunday. I did that Thursday. Made my once a month trip to town. Went to the barber shop, to the bank, the grocery store, to Walmart, and whatnot. Ken, I talked with Mike earlier. He was down around Nashville when I talked to him. Roads are bare down there. He's still fretting over his fuel mileage in his truck. Said he's only getting 5 something a gallon right now. Cold weather probably has some of an influence on that. Because he wasn't running heavy. He said he only had about 12,000 in the box. So that's less than a third of a load. Yeah, there's. Let me check again. Yeah, they're saying 31 for a low tonight. It's 37 here right now. It's supposed to be 38 tomorrow night. The high today was only 53. Yeah, you can keep that minus stuff. But your -3 is real close to mine going to be tonight because mine's 31, so that's right in around -1. You know, having some snow on the ground helps to insulate stuff. Especially if you get it up around your house and stuff, it helps to. Hey, Lonnie. Especially if you get the snow up around your house and stuff, it helps to insulate your foundation and whatnot. I know when I was up north, they used to, a lot of times, some of the mobile homes especially would pile baled hay all the way around the house or the trailer. Yeah, I don't know what's causing it. I mean, because he's only running, he's at around 62 miles an hour to trying to get some mileage out of it. I mean, one, he's got a big square front end on it, which hurts him, but the other one I suggested he might try to get some like mud flat material and run all the way across underneath the front bumper to stop the air from going under the truck when that would help cut some of the air turbulence on the bottom side of the vehicle. I mean, that's what, when you look at the race cars and stuff in NASCAR, they got the front ends of them right down as close to the ground as they can get them, where they don't, let the air under the vehicle. And then if you start pushing the headwind, that makes it even worse for his mileage. That was one of the things I always used to hate when I was running out west. I'd come down 35 out of central Kansas down into Oklahoma. I pick up 40 to come back east, and down in the southern half of Kansas and coming into Oklahoma, I always had a headwind. And then I took the toll road across the Indian reservation from that went down across past Tulsa, and then I had a crosswind, which made it hard to stay on the road. Which game are you watching? I know at 7 o'clock it was with the Vikings and the Rams or something. I didn't watch it, but I don't watch a whole lot of sports on TV. I mean, once in a while I'll watch something, but I don't watch it steady. Seems the spam bots are just bouncing around everybody's channel lately. Last time I was live, I had, I think, three. I've already got one tonight. Filipina and Newfoundland. Now imagine it's cold up your way too. Oh, that's right. It's later for you. I forgot you're farther east than me. Is it 10:30 or 11:30 there? I haven't seen her yet. I talked to her earlier today, but I haven't seen her since. Buffalo and Kansas City, okay. Lots of snow too, huh? What's your temperature up there in Newfoundland? 11:05. You got the split time zone, so you're an hour and a half ahead of me. There aren't too many places that split the time zones that way. There's a couple places in China that does it. Yeah, it's 9:35 here. A couple places in Australia that split time zones. I don't remember where else. I want to say Korea, but I know they don't. Somewhere in that area, though. All the different time zones makes it hard to keep up with other people. And then if you split one, -5. Okay, well, Josh said he's -3. Yeah, they seem to be doing all right. I imagine right now they're all hiding somewhere trying to stay warm. They were out and around with me today when I was outside because I was out in and out multiple times because I went out and split some more wood and brought more firewood in. They kept coming out hanging around with me when I was out there doing that. But I just went out a little while ago just to check some stuff and didn't see any of them out there. And Fluffy, my inside kitty, she's in there curled up on the couch right now in the living room. Every time I go in and do anything with the wood stove, she comes running over and lays by my feet at the wood stove. But the floor is nice and warm all around the stove. Yeah, I can't handle that cold anymore. Where my sister lives in northern New York, they were saying the other night in the news up there, the wind chill was supposed to have made it feel like -40. Starts getting that cold, just makes your heat run all the time. Yeah. Have you talked to them this evening, Ken? Because when I talked to Mike earlier, it was 5 o'clock here, and he said, "Well, Rena will be up shortly and call him." Yeah, when it's at -40, the only thing you can do there is stay inside. because you get frostbite from if you're out in that very long. When I lived up in New York back in the 80s, I used to work on a dairy farm up there, and I'd be out riding around on a tractor and stuff in the winter when it would be 20 below. Back then, didn't think nothing of it, but I can't take that anymore. But I've been down here in Florida for too long. Yeah, Mike was saying tonight there that new one they just got there that the girls are running it all the time when they're out in the kitchen or whatever. Okay, good night. 10:30 and they're eating breakfast. Yeah, it's kind of the way I do it. I usually end up doing stuff around here before I ever get my breakfast. Today it was pretty near noon before I ate breakfast. So if I do that, then I don't eat lunch till 3 or 4 o'clock, and then that makes me eat supper real late. And they keep saying, you shouldn't eat real late and then go to bed, and I've done that for years. Josh, was you on IJ's live earlier today? Because I see she did it for, I think, 11 hours and 56 minutes or something. So I don't know whether she was up all night or part of it was silent. I couldn't sit there and do one for that long. One, I'd run out of things to say. Yeah, plus, if I sat and talked for that long anyways, I wouldn't be able to talk after a while. Okay. I was in somewhere in the middle of it today. I didn't stay too long. Ira Jacob, I haven't seen you in a while. How have you been? I feel better since we last talked. It's just like still got a little bit of a cough. Most time it don't bother me, but if I sit and talk too much, I'll start coughing, or if I get laughing, I'll start coughing. So what have you been up since we last talked? Hey, Jim. You got sick. It's been weeks. Just a cold or something else? You said you're waiting for the house to close. You already have a buyer in process then? You're doing a live stream Monday. That's tomorrow. Okay. I see every once in a while where you've done one, but most generally it's I'm doing something or whatever and managed to miss it. I don't know how. I see it after it's over with. Closing on March 1st. Okay, well, a little ways off. I know when we sold my parents' house up in New York after they passed it, it just seemed like it dragged out forever on that. Then every time we get stuff settled, what we thought we was doing, it was then the buyers wanted something different or whatever. Yeah, I didn't have so much problems as far as sleeping with the coughing because once I, laid down and did nothing, sometimes I'd cough when I first went to bed, but after that, I pretty much get through the night. But when I'm up and doing stuff, like I say, especially if I'm talking or whatever, then I'll start. Oh, that's right. You're going to Thailand for a while before you go on to the Philippines. I forgot about that. Yeah, the weather has a lot to do with that. And there's been, hey, more, and they say that that there's a flu going around or whatever that people are getting, and some of them are getting that and COVID, and it just makes it hard, for doing anything, when you get sick that way. Yeah, it's cold here more. Right now it's Let me check it in Celsius. Right now it's only 3 degrees here. It's going to be -1 tonight. And I've been in and out all day, so I just haven't taken it off. Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, like when I had mine, I figured it was a sinus cold, the way it felt, and all. And the girl that lives next door here, she had it. Her 2 daughters had it, and she's got 2 grandkids that live with her too. And later, I see they were home from school. No, I've only got I've only got the one sweatshirt. I just went and watched another one of your older videos today, Amor, um, where you and a bunch of the girls were up hiking. That was a good video. I like seeing those. Some of the caves you go in, I think I'd like to go through, but some of the others where you're crawling on your hands and knees, I don't think I can handle that. My knees wouldn't take that crawling around like you girls do. Well, I always enjoy, watching what you put out like that because you've always got some interesting content. And the areas you go to, are neat to see. I'd like to be able to go there and see that stuff, that you're seeing when you're out hiking or whatever. I don't know if I'd ever make it to Hong Kong, but I can always say that I'd like to. I'd like to get back to the Philippines, but right now with all the kiddies, I don't know as I can. I don't have nobody to take care of them. Ira, did you actually get a, a test to see that you're negative, or you're just assuming you are? I've never gone and got the test. I didn't. I've never got the vaccine or whatever. I don't intend to, but I just kind of figured as far as the test, it don't matter if I've got it or not. I mean, you don't do nothing except stay away from people. Well, if I'm sick, I don't go around people anyways. I've got a sister in New York that worries about stuff like that because she's got a real low, what do you call it, immune system or whatever. So she gets sick really easy because of some medical problems and the medication she's on and whatever. Yeah, but I imagine even if China takes back, that I would still be able to go there too. But well, Amora, they've been doing that right from the day one, and now they're coming back and saying that the masks don't help and the vaccine doesn't help because it's not really a vaccine. It's just a shot to help you fight the disease if you get it, and it wears off day by day. You know, they're doing the boosters here too, Ira. And there's still a lot of people that haven't got them, and there's others that are in line getting tested, in line getting the boosters and whatnot. And even those that are getting the shots and getting the boosters are still getting sick. Well, Jim, they're saying there that Biden's making a big deal. He's going to, as they said, send them out. So I don't know if they're going to mail them to you or what, so that everybody in the country has a test. Which to me makes no sense, but anyways. Okay. I didn't know how they were coming up with it because the news only tells, part of the story all the time. They probably won't let me cross the border, Josh. Because I was thinking they were saying that, like with the truckers, that they couldn't cross the border unless they had been vaccinated. There may be more truth to that than you think, more. I mean, that's how most medicine is developed and whatnot, is experiment that way. I mean, they've got others here that they advertise it all the time that if you want to, go in for the testing and stuff, they will pay you such and such, and you have to do whatever for so many days. Nah, Ira, you're not confusing me any. I've already decided I don't want to, but oh, you have a skin allergy from the shot, you mean? See, that's the bad part of it. Some of that stuff, affects people differently, and they shouldn't be getting it. Well, that's what I was saying, Ken. That they say that the vaccine doesn't stop you from getting it. It's supposed to just help, kind of like medication for a cold. But they say it wears off as time goes on. That's why they keep giving the boosters and stuff. Yeah, that's what I mean, Josh. Well, in your case, some more. I mean, you're all right for now, but if you when you get ready to travel back home, you have to get it. And that's the other thing too with me. I haven't rushed to get it because I'm not planning on traveling anywhere right now. One, we can't go, and second, with my kiddies, I can't go yet anyways. So maybe by the time the day ever comes that I'm able to travel again, they'll have changed all their plans on that stuff with that. Yeah, if you're in the Philippines, having a problem with heat is not good. You need to go someplace like Baguio where it's cooler. It's been a whole lot cooler there lately. You know, right now the temperature in Baguio is just 22 degrees Celsius. So that would be a lot better for you. Really? See, here in Florida, we don't have to wear a mask. The governor passed a thing a long time ago that masks were not mandatory. And with the kids going back to school, and they said it's up to parents' discretion about if the kids have to wear a mask in school or not. Some places have signs up, saying mask required, but I never wear one when I go in. Well, I'm glad you stopped in, Ira, because I haven't done a live in a while. One, like I said, I couldn't because every time I started try to talk, I get the coughing, so I couldn't last very long. Anyways, my last one I did, I think, was just over 5 minutes, and I quit. And the other was I get too wound up watching everybody else's lives, and being on them that I don't get time to do my own. Well, it used to be that way here, Josh, because I'd see the kids when they're walking to the bus stop, they'd have their mask on, but now they're not. But it's the same thing, with the vaccine. They had a thing here in the news here a little while back. A U.S. naval vessel has 103 crew members on it. Yeah, it's going to take her a while, Ken. But the naval vessel had 103 crew member on it, and enough of them. They were 100% vaccinated, but enough of them came down with COVID that they put the ship into port down in Guantanamo Bay because they didn't have enough people to run the ship. They're sitting in port. It's cold enough outside here, which is not cold to you guys, but 37 degrees right now, but the humidity's 80%. I just heard my central heat out there. It was running, and it just switched over, and right now it's defrosting. It's iced up. So with the humidity the way it is, the whole outside element on it there, which I don't know what they call it. I call it a radiator. Hey, Marine, but it'll completely freeze up and cover with ice. Well, every country's got it a little bit different. I know that JB was saying there when she went to the Philippines or to Hong Kong, she was in quarantine for I think what 21 days or something, and now going back to the Philippines, she's only in quarantine for 5 days. So she's back home already. Yeah, and everybody, pushes you to use it, but they've said years ago that hand sanitizers are not safe to use in excess because they kill all the bacteria on your skin. Well, your skin has bacteria on it that helps to protect it. I mean, your whole body has bacteria on it that your body needs, and the hand sanitizer kills that. I mean, I look at it like another viewpoint. An engine needs oil, but if you dump kerosene in it with it, it dilutes the oil down too much where the oil isn't any good anymore. Well, the hand sanitizer does the same thing to the bacteria that your skin needs. I was in the DMV, the tag office, whatever you want to call it, down here the other day, and they had one of those dispensers there as you came in the door, hand sanitizer, and they had it turned around facing the wall so you couldn't use it. I don't know if that meant it was empty or somebody didn't want you to use it or what. So I don't use any of this stuff. I just plain old soap and water. And I don't even buy the soaps and stuff that have antibacterial or any of that stuff in them. Um, and like in the bathroom, what I got in there is one of them pump type bottles, and I just fill it with dish soap. I mean, dish soap's supposed to be to cut grease and whatever. So I figured that way, if I come in from outside and my hands are dirty from working on the truck, whatever, that works as good as anything to clean them. And it's actually costs less than buying a lot of your hand soaps and stuff. Well, hello, Bikini. How are you today? Your last video you put out there for your birthday, that was really a nice video. Very pretty dress. For any of you that don't know her, Bikini Hiker Hong Kong has a very good channel too. She does a lot of hiking like JB and Amora do. I think she's got good content in all of her videos. Here, my central heat just kicked back on. It went through 2 cycles of defrost before it got itself defrosted out there. Yeah, a lot of people use Dawn. What I've been using, I think, is Ajax brand dish soap. I like it real well. There's her channel for you guys that haven't ever checked it out before. But I buy I think it's Ajax dish soap. I get it at Walmart. And a couple reasons. One, I think it's cheaper than some of them like Dawn maybe. And the other thing is, I like the dish soap that's kind of thick. Some of them you buy, they're so juicy and all, which I think is more water content than it is soap. I like the thicker ones. To me, they do a better job. Yeah. The birds must have liked that though. Get in there and get soap all over them. Maureen, you still there? Or are you girls out on the town again today? Amora must have slipped out too. She got quiet. Oh, okay. You making enough for me? I like macaroni. Yeah, I think that's a joke on some of that stuff. You see them do that, and they'll come over and just look at your receipt and scratch on it and tell you to go. And the next one, they want to dig through all the bags. I always put the receipt in my pocket and just walk on past them and just say hi as I go by and don't stop. Okay, I just didn't know if you were still there. You got quiet too. So what? How are you fixing the macaroni, Amor? Macaroni and cheese or macaroni salad or what? I a lot of times will make macaroni here, and then just put spaghetti sauce on it. Eat it the same way you would spaghetti. Yeah, I've never tried it that way. That's only because they aren't dressed yet, Ken. Wait till they get dressed; they'll change their mind. Although both of them went walking up the street a while back in their pajamas. That sounds good, Amor. Yeah, well, that's one of the other things I've complained about to them before too, there, Jim, because I've been in Walmart and watched a customer go back there to the egg department, and they'll open up the carton where it says the medium eggs, and take the ones out that says large and switch them in the cartons, and then go to the counter with the carton for the small ones, and pay that the price for that for the big eggs. And I'd say something to one of the girls on the floor. Oh, we can't say nothing about it because they might get offended. I said, well, damn, they're stealing from you. Why can't you say anything? They're stealing from Walmart, and then Walmart raises their price, and I have to pay a higher price because they're afraid they might offend somebody. The more what I also do a lot of times too, if like when I fix rice, I get cans of chopped chicken, just like you get a can of tuna fish, and I'll take and dump one of them in with the rice. When the rice is finally just pretty much done cooking, I put that in and then just let it heat a little bit longer to heat the chicken up and stir it in, give the rice some flavor. Well, Jim, I used to manage Ace Hardware, several stores for quite a while. Our markup there was probably 40% or better. But what I used to do with that was when a customer would come in and and want an item and would say something about, well, the price was too much or whatever, or they can get it for such and such, at Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever like that. I'll try and ask them. I says, okay, so what price you willing to pay for this? And I would turn around and give it to them at the lower price, and they were happy. They'd come back and shop again. The owner of the store asked me why I was doing that. I said, well, would you rather make $1 off that item and sell it, or make nothing and he goes out empty? And if you work with a customer, they'll remember that and they'll come back more often too. Yeah. We had one shopping plaza in DeLand here near where I live at, and it's right on the edge of the area where most of the black people live at. And they finally ended up closing the store there. They said they were losing too much to theft. Well, yeah, Walmart used to do that price matching. If whatever their price was, if you could tell them, well, so and so sells it for this, they would give it to you. But they quit doing that now. Yeah, they have insurance for it, Josh. But on top of that, then they turn around and raise their prices to compensate for it too. So we end up paying it for it, on top of it. So the store makes out twice. That's like Ace Hardware has the policy, you guarantee on everything you buy. You're not happy with it, bring it back. And we get people that would not come back and say, well, this wasn't what I wanted, or I don't need it, or whatever. And they say, well, it didn't work, it's broke. So the girls would turn around and ring it up as a defective item, give them their money back. There'd be nothing wrong with it. Then they turn around and put it back on the shelf and sell it again, and still send the defective request into Ace Corporate and get paid for it there too. I used to take and bring a lot of the stuff home that they took back as defective, because it was supposed to went in the back room once it got rolled off, through Ace Corporate. Then it was supposed to be disposed of. I'd bring it home, and if you'd have 2 or 3 items that were defective, and I'd take them apart and build them up and make one good one out of it. Yeah, insurance anymore though, it's getting where it costs so much for everything. Vehicle insurance has gotten ridiculous in a lot of places, especially for trucking. When I was on the road with my truck, I was paying over 15,000 a year for insurance on it, and that's just the $1 million liability. I mean, they're only requiring 750,000, but I carried 1 million, and now that the government's pushing, trying to get it raised to 2 million. That's just going to raise the cost more. Price of gas down here's came down a little bit. When I was in town the other day, I see it for, I think, $3.17. Yeah, I agree, Jim. And the other way they fool you on the prices and stuff, well, example, bag of sugar. You used to buy a 5 pound bag. As the price started to go up a little bit, they just made the bag smaller. So the price went up a little bit and the bag went down a pound. People didn't realize the difference. They were buying 4 pounds for way more than they were paying for the 5 pound. There's a lot of items that when you get them, grocery wise and stuff, even they're not as big as what they used to be. Yeah. Well, even like some of your cans of soup and stuff, instead of being a 16-ounce can, now it's a 15 and a half ounce. Yeah, they were way bigger and a whole lot less. I mean, I'm old enough to. I was telling the girl at Walmart the other day that when she was ringing my stuff up about prices and whatnot. I'm, I remember back when candy bars were a nickel. Now the big ones are what, $1.48 or something. Even the little ones are pretty near $1. Now your milk up there, Josh, while everything in Canada is higher than it is here, your milk is really high because I can get milk at Walmart. I got it the other day for a gallon, which is 3.78 liters for $3.88. Now the little convenience store just 4 miles down the road from me, his is $5 for a gallon. Which, if all you need is milk, I I can't afford to drive to town for the cost of gas to get just the one jug of milk. So you go down there and you pay the big price for it. But because your price there would put our gallon at, oh shoot, probably close to $9 for a gallon of milk. And like I say, Walmart, I can get it for 3.88 here. Yeah, I agree, Jim. And the other thing too, I mean, sure, people want to make more money, but I was one of them that voted against it down here when Florida tried to, well, they did do it. It was passed to raise the minimum wage in Florida to $15 an hour. I said, if the guy working at McDonald's is getting $15 an hour, what's that do to the $2 menu? Yeah, exactly. I don't go to McDonald's and those places anymore, anyways, because they just even that stuff got smaller in size. You know, your milkshake, what used to be a large, what they call a large now is the old small, and the smalls are even smaller yet, and their prices have gotten high. And most of your fast food stuff you get that way. I don't need it. It's salt and grease. I do too much snacking and stuff here at the house, anyways. Well, yes and no. I mean, it needs to be up to where people can afford to buy everything. But if the wages weren't so high, the price of stuff wouldn't be so high. I mean, years ago, minimum wage was $1.90. When I was working for a dollar, well, working for $1.90 an hour, I had everything that I can get now. That stuff just didn't cost as much. Yeah, that's true, Josh. Yeah, that's right, Jim. I'll be right back, guys. I need to go check my fire. My heat's running quite a bit right now, so my fire might be dying down. So give me a couple. I'll be right back. Yep, I had to put more wood in the fire. It was about out. Yeah, and Ken, that's the problem, not just with retail, but everywhere. I mean, you take places like oh, I can't think of the name of it now, but like Salvation Army and those places, and the other ones, United Way or whatever. The CEOs of them make way too much money. I mean, half the donations that people give to the company to them outfits are going to pay the people in the office. Same thing with people in government. They make way too much money. Yeah, that's one of the things I like here with my electric. We have a co-op here, so it's owned by the people. Our prices are less than the neighboring big companies like Duke Energy and all of those. And then at the end of every year, they go back and look at how much they've collected and how much stuff has cost. And if they've made profit, they return it back to us. Not this, not this month, but last month when I got my electric bill, with the money I got back from the electric company, because they had made too much, this past year, and they rate it by how much you use, so everybody don't get the same. It depends on how much you use. But my electric bill last month was $10.05. When government's overpaid, yeah, biggest share of them in government make more than our president do. Not that he does anything, anyways. Last year, when they did that payback to us on our, well, that's what I say, Jim. But the other people in Congress and stuff make more than he does. But last year when they did that payback off my electric co-op, um, I had 1 month I had no bill, and the next month my bill was only about half of what it would have been. I got that much back last year. I pay 11 cents per kilowatt hour of electric here. My monthly electric bills usually average around $65 if I'm running the AC or the heat. Yeah, and everywhere he goes, Josh, he cost us a fortune with all the security and the transportation costs and everything. That was the problem we had with our previous president, because he would take off and go one way, and his wife would go on a separate vacation in different directions. So we were paying twice for the transportation, the security, and everything. Well, I don't do anything with the stock market, so I don't know a whole lot about it, other than times I think it should be done differently than what it is, because you got them few that sit there and decide what the stocks are going to be, and then that affects what the rest of us end up paying for everything we get. Well, that probably happens a lot too, especially Josh. If you got a family member that's got a different last name, people wouldn't realize the difference. Yeah, but when it drops, then everybody jumps in and buys it. That's how you guys make you. Temperatures dropped to 35 here now. Still holding steady at 22 Celsius, 71 Fahrenheit in Baguio. Yeah, I agree with that, Jim. And all it takes is somebody to say that something's going to go up. Everybody runs out and buys it to try to beat the price increase, and that just pushes the stocks up higher. I've got a neighbor here that's got a bunch of money, I think, tied up in stocks because he's always checking to see what the market is and stuff on them. But like I say, I've never got involved in it. Never had enough money to play with like that. What little I've got, I put it in the bank, and it don't make much there. I've got a little bit of money right now in a couple of IRAs up in New York, just because they pay a lot better up there than they do down here. Josh, I got a bunch of peanut butter jars. My great grandfather was that way. He used to keep his wrapped up in a paper bag under the couch on the cushion on the living room couch. I just don't know enough about the stocks. I've never, paid attention to them enough to really know what to do with one. I used to have a theory, years ago, a couple of them I thought would be good ones to invest in, but don't even remember what they were now. Yeah, that would have been a good investment then. Well, that's the way I am, Josh. I don't know enough about it. I mean, there's some of them that again, I said there used to be a couple of them that I thought would be good ones to invest in because they were, always good business wise. But I mean, years back, something simple like McDonald's used to be good because they were just growing all the time. But you take with stuff like with COVID, where everything got shut down, that would knock the hell out of stocks like that. The way medications and everything keep going up, there should be somewhere be some good money in that even. It's like your Yeah, but that's just like here. Quite a few years back, there was a big thing on raising the emus, and everybody jumped into it. But the government failed it on that and never got enough slaughterhouses set up that were approved to slaughter the emus, and the bottom fell out of it. There's a lot of people that had emus that end up, selling off. I sold off all of mine. It was getting where I wasn't making enough money selling them, the young ones, and the price of feed and stuff was costing me. Yeah, but Josh, what I've been seeing lately on the any of the cryptocurrencies, they've been dropping a lot lately. Well, some of them today are showing they're up. The Bitcoin is up 0.73%, but just a few days ago, all of them were going down. And that's one there that I really wonder about making any money and stuff on seriously mm, because I mean they're all just on paper. Who's actually got control of what they do? Well, something like that, I think would always going to keep going because everybody needs electric, and the more and more stuff they're switching over to electric is going to keep pushing the demand up for it, which is going to make it grow. I mean, right now Biden's pushing to try to get a lot of your cars electric. I think New York State recently passed a law that by such and such they're going to start trying to do away with the big diesels and stuff. Yeah, I think anything doing with fuel and power or whatever like that's going to be always going to be growing. Because even when everything else went downhill with COVID and stuff, the electric never changed. It probably went up. If you could have invested in YouTube in the last couple of years, you probably would have made money. Josh, you could sell it in the Philippines. Every Filipino you talk to said they'd like to see snow. Well, guys, this has been an hour and a half. I think I'm going to shut her down. I went longer than I originally thought I would. I wasn't sure how long I'd be able to talk before I start coughing again. I've done good tonight so far. Yeah, I need to do some repair on my laptop. My keyboard's messing up on me. I need to put a new keyboard in it. Plus, I need a battery for it. I'd like to have a drone. I just never really looked into them too much, and to get a decent one, they're expensive. I like watching a lot of the YouTube videos that people do where they have drone footage and stuff in them. You just get to see a whole lot more with them. JB Vlogs and Amor Fatty that was in here earlier both have drones in there sometimes when they're up hiking. Okay, Josh, we'll catch you later. What kind of money you looking at, Jim, on one like that? $400, okay. Now is that just the drone or the drone with the camera? I don't know much about them. Okay. There's quite a few of the truckers that have YouTube channels that are using drones now too. Well, like I said, I'm going to call this a night, and thanks for everybody that showed up tonight. Good talking to everybody. And we'll see what happens next time. Now all of a sudden I got 6 people in here. It just went from 2 people up to 6. Who showed up?